Hello and welcome back to another week in the life of an eBay reseller. My name is Tom. This channel is Tom's Toys 95 and I'm a part-time eBay reseller. I also like to collect video games, so throughout the week you'll see me picking up video games as well. So the point of these episodes is to go to charity shops, car boots, anywhere that I can buy stuff second hand and flip it to make a profit. And I will show you what I pick up, how much I'm going to sell it for, but I'll also go over all of my eBay sales and anything in between. So let's get into the video. Now I usually roll from Saturday morning through to Friday evening and document all of the sales for that week. That gives me the weekend to edit the video. Now last week was a very poor week. I only sold 5 items. I didn't really go anywhere. Because I sold 5 items, I had no money in my eBay account to go and spend and buy stuff. Therefore it was a really boring week, and I could probably have made a YouTube short rather than these long form videos. So I'm just going to roll the 2 weeks into one. So we sold 5 items in that 2-week period, so I'll go over what those are now. So the first one is this Nike t-shirt. Now it's just a grey generic Nike t-shirt with a black pocket. This is one from my own collection, I guess, my own wardrobe. So that cost me £8 back in the day, and that sold for a £5, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm just happy to get something back for it. Now up next, I sold a Grand Theft Auto 5 headphone box for the PS3. Now, how I acquired this box, just a random colleague gave it me to post some stuff in. Said, my son's getting rid of some boxes in his room, do you want them to use them for postage boxes? And obviously, as a collector of video games and a PS3 collector, I decided that the box has some value, so I listed it box only in the hope that someone out there has the headphones and they've thrown the box away and they're a collector and they want to get the box. So I listed it as an empty box, and that sold for £6.50 plus postage. But then I had a message from the buyer saying, why have you sent me an empty box? So yeah, they didn't read the description, so I did send them the proof that it was in the title, the description and everything like that, and they just said that we won't contact you again. So yeah, there's that. Up next, we've got these Disney Toy Story Alien and Buzz Lightyear curtains. They were from Dunelm. They only owe me £12. They were originally £48. They're brand new. They're in the clearance, and those sold for £25.99. So quite a good markup on those ones. I've still got 2 pairs left, but they are slightly bigger size of curtains. So those ones I paid £14.50 for. So those are listed for a little bit higher on my store. So I'm waiting for those to sell. But £12 into £25, can't complain with that. Spoke about the next sale before, but these are some Mighty Minis. They're like DC Comic Batman figures. They're only about this big, and they cost me 25p from, I think, Morrison's back in the day. So there's 4 of those that only cost me £1. Those sold for £5 plus postage. So I've been selling those through. I think that is the last of them now. So I'm glad those have gone. And the last sale for that week was Guilty Gear on the PS5. Now I bought this in a 3 for 2 bundle from Game. It cost me £8.66 and it sold for £12.45 plus postage. So I'm pleased with that. That went really quickly. So it's only a couple of quid profit, but I always say with video games, don't care if it's £1 or 2 profit. They take me no time at all to list. So I'm happy with that. So that was week 1, and it was a pretty poor week overall. I actually lost money because I think I've got £77 worth of shop fees to come out from eBay, and I barely made any money at all. So the fees actually were more than what I made, and I think I had to pay something like £48. So yeah, I didn't do very well that week. I can't be bothered to work out all the figures because it's definitely a loss. But you just have to take it on the chin. I mean, the shop fees you have to factor in, and the shop fees you could technically spread out over the month. So it might not be that bad of a week. But the sales were pretty poor other than the curtains, and I didn't really make any profit at all. So just to switch things up a little bit, I did pop to CEX probably about 10 days ago now, and I picked up this Pokemon trading card game on the Game Boy. And it was actually the unboxed price. I have got a video on this, but it was the unboxed price. It was £18 cartridge only, and it actually came with everything. It came with the inserts. It's even got a protective case for the game. It's got the cardboard tray. It's got the manual and the box. Now the reason for the cheap price was because the flaps are broken off on the bottom there, and it's in unboxed condition according to CEX, which is good that they do that, because obviously if you bought that as a boxed copy you'd be pretty peed off if the bits missing of it. However, for £18 I really can't complain. This is a £60 game. So I'm undecided whether I'm going to keep this. I think I might add this to the collection for now and look for a box upgrade in the future, and then obviously I can sell whatever's left on this one. But I think for the price I paid, I think it'd be silly to sell it because I'm not going to be able to afford to buy it again. It's an expensive game, so I'll be looking forward to adding that to my collection. Now I also popped into CEX as well, and I picked up two things. So the first one is Super Pokemon Rumble on the 3DS. Now I only picked this up because it was quite cheap. It was £12. I looked on eBay and it was all complete. It's got all the stuff inside of it, so it's a really nice copy. And I looked on eBay, it goes for about £14–15, and I know Pokemon games are always going up in price, or at the moment they're probably staying around the same, but second a new Pokemon game comes out, they go back up again. So this game here was £12, and I'll be adding this to my collection, or at least for the time being, and once the price rises then I'll probably sell it. Now the next one that I picked up was this Lego Hobbit. Now I bought this because it came in the outer cardboard box, and these are quite collectible. You don't see these very often anymore. So I was hoping that it came with the minifigure. Unfortunately it didn't, but it only cost me £5, so I'm not going to complain too much. I'm happy to add the box to my collection, but I already have the game, so I'm going to sell this. I think I'll only get about £5 back for it, so I won't make any profit, but I get to keep the box for free, and the box is where the value is, so I can add my copy of the game to the box. So up next I've got a bundle of items that I was given to probably about 2 weeks ago now from my friend Connor, who's a regular watcher and subscriber of the channel, and he messaged me and he said that he's got a bunch of controllers and accessories that don't work or have stick drift, and he's just going to throw them in the bin if I don't want them, because he doesn't have any use for them. So obviously I wanted to rescue them, and I said to them, yep, I'd happily have them. Now I do feel a bit bad because there's quite some value in here, and it is a shame that some of these items don't work properly, because they are quite expensive. So I will be, Connor, if you're watching, I will be giving you some money back once they sell. But up first we have this DualSense 5 controller on the PS5. Now this, as far as I'm aware, is fully working. The only issue it has is that it does have some stick drift. So I've looked on eBay and this sells for around about £25 in this condition. So if that's all working and it's just the stick that's drifting, then as I said, 25 quid on that one. The next one is this Switch Pro controller. I believe it's for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now it is well loved. The analog sticks are fairly worn, but still good condition. And I believe this also has stick drift, so I probably will test this out, but I think all the buttons are working, so it is faulty, unfortunately. Now these seem to be quite rare, so someone's got one listed for £100 brand new, someone's got one for £50 brand new, so but out the box I think someone else has it in the box. So obviously brand new and condition and boxed, etc., and working adds value to it. So I reckon I could get about 25 to 30 for this one in this condition. Up next we have these two Switch controllers. Now they are both right Joy-Cons, and apparently both of these also have stick drift, so again I could probably quickly test these out just to confirm. But yeah, these sell for around about £20–25 each, with stick drift probably about £15, maybe £10 to £15. I'll probably sell the both as a pair because the person buying them will be buying them to repair them. So I'll probably sell them as a bundle, maybe £20–25 for the pair. So we've got the neon pink one, which I think was from Splatoon, and this looks like the Mario Special Edition red. The last item, and probably the best of the bunch, is this Nintendo Game Boy Advance SP. Now the problem with this is it's not charging. I believe the battery will need replacing. I bought a new charger and it didn't charge, so what I might do is try and find a new battery, see if I can get it working before I sell it as broken. If I can get it working, then I will give you it back, Connor, if you're watching, because I know how much you wanted to get this working, so I feel bad selling it. But if I can't get it working, then I reckon in this condition probably about £40 to £50. So that was a nice little haul that I got given a couple of weeks ago. So let's get back to the sales. So this game was from my own personal collection, and I decided to sell it because I'm going for a full PAL PS3 set. However, I do not want to collect all of the collector's editions and limited edition boxes. They are too big and bulky, and I just don't really want them. clogging up all the space. I'd rather have a shelf of games than a shelf with 2 games on it, so that's the reason why I'm selling it. Now I think I paid £12 for this from CEX probably about 10 years ago now, and it comes with a Marcus bobblehead, I believe that's his name anyway, and the art book, soundtrack and the game. So that's sold for £34.99, so I'm happy with that sale. Up next then, this was a bit of a flop, so I bought a game called Trinity Universe on the PS3 for £12 from CEX. Now unfortunately when I got to the till it didn't have the manual, and I felt a bit awkward putting it back. So I just said I'll take it. It's an NIS America game, which always hold their value and they always are quite pricey. So I thought I'd be able to get about £20 for this game. When I looked, I only managed to get, I think, £17 or £18 for it. I think it was £17 it sold for in the end. Obviously, it's got no manual. If it had the manual, I'd be pushing 20, 25, and there'd be some profit in it. So after fees and everything, I've barely made a profit. I think I made something like 24 pence. So it is what it is. The next sale is Portal Knights on the PlayStation 4. This was a game that I bought from a car boot many years ago, probably about 2 years ago. And I think I paid like £2 a game or £3 a game, and that sold for £7. Unfortunately, I had free postage, so I used to do free postage on my games, and then obviously the postage went up and it got really expensive, so now I just factor in the postage separately. This is one of the listings which is an old listing, and I must have forgot to add the postage on top, so it's only gone for £7, so there's probably only about £1 or 2 of profit in that. But then the next few sales were, there's 2 Assassin's Creed Origins games. Now these have both been listed for quite a long time. It just so happened that both of them sold really quickly, about half an hour apart of each other. And one of them is a sealed Italian version. Now this went for £11.70 plus postage, and that is a sealed copy of the standard game, but it is the Italian variant. And the other one was the Assassin's Creed Deluxe Edition on the PlayStation 4, which comes with a map and I think a lithograph print or something like that. So that was quite nice. That one sold for £11.50. So those 2 sales went one after the other. So what's next? So up next then we have some Star Wars figures. So those sold for £7.99. This was the very first car boot purchase of the year. It was £4. I probably could have got a little bit more, but one of the figures' hands was missing, so I obviously factored that into the price. So it was the very first item I saw. Got a bit happy seeing like figures and new stuff. First car boot of the year, so glad it's gone. Made a little bit of profit. So the next game is Phantasy Star Online on the Xbox One, 360, sorry. So the reason I picked this game up was because the Xbox 360 store is closing, so certain games will be going up in price. I'm not sure if that's one of them, but when I was looking at the games, it was only £2. I hadn't really seen it before, and it was really good condition with the manual. So I managed to get, I think, £5.99 for that one. So that's, yeah, that sold for £5.99. And the next sale was actually going to a subscriber. Shout out to Ryan. So he messaged me on eBay, and I had a bundle of Mario figures on my eBay store for I think £30. I wanted about £5 to £6 per figure, and he messaged me and just wanted one figure. Now I do have some of them multiple times. I just haven't got round to listing them yet. So I had a spare Luigi, which is the one he wanted for his son for his birthday, and he bought that for £6.31 plus postage, so I'm happy to see that one go. I paid £2.99 for that from B&M, so I think after fees I made about £2, so it is what it is. Up next, the next sale, I bought this probably about 3 years ago now, and it was a Bo Peep Skunkmobile, and I thought this would be a lot more collectible than it is. These sorts of Toy Story toys, especially if you get obscure characters, they can go up in price because those characters you don't see very often. So for example, the Skunkmobile is quite a unique vehicle in the film, so I was hoping that it would have some value, but that's taken 3 years to sell, and I've only made about £1 profit after fees. So that sold for £4. I think I paid £2 for it from the car boot. And the last sale to conclude all of the sales for this week was Persona 5 Royal on the PS4. Now this is just a steelbook. I sold the disc separately for I think £12, so I paid £18 for the steelbook with the game, and I sold the game for £12, so I worked out that it was £9 each. So I barely made any profit on the disc, but then the steelbook is where I'll make some of the profit, so I think I made £5 something after fees on the steelbook, so I'm very happy with that. And that is everything. So I'm going to work out now all of the facts and figures, and then I'll do a rundown at the end of the video. But until then, we actually bought a few more things, so there's a few more things to go through, so I'll go through those now. So a couple of days ago I popped into Home Bargains to grab myself a drink after the gym, and I saw a few bits on the shelf, so I decided to pick them up. So the first one is this orange bottle of Prime. Now I know they're not worth any money anymore, but I've sort of started a collection now, so I've decided to just get one of each flavour, and when I have enough I will probably sell them on eBay as a set. I'm not a Sidemen or KSI fan as such, so I won't be you know, I'm not like hardcore collecting them for myself. The plan is to get a big set of different colours and different flavours and then sell them all. So there's that one, and then there is the new flavour, which is the strawberry and banana, and I do kind of want to try this one, so I might pick another one up to try, but at the moment I'm just keeping these sealed for the collection. And then I also picked up these Red Bull, so there's a sugar-free one and there's a full sugar one, and both of these have Max Verstappen on, who is an F1 driver. Now certain cans like this can become very collectible in the future, so if they're not worth anything now, then I will certainly be selling them or holding on to them for a bit before I do sell them. An example of this is I sold a Gorillas can at the start of the year, which was a Red Bull limited edition Gorillas tin, and that one was sealed. I bought that about 5-6 years ago, and that sold for £20 just for that can on its own. So I think these go for about £8 on eBay at the moment, so I might sell them now. But if they don't sell and they hang around for a bit, then I'll certainly be sitting on them for a couple of years and watch the price increase. Especially with F1, fans are crazy, the merch is really expensive, so things like that do become very collectible. And the last couple of things I bought, I'm a bit annoyed I didn't manage to get any more of these because these are the only ones that were left, but I managed to keep the box as well. So we got these Super Mario keychains. So at first we have Luigi. These were $7.99 reduced to $2.99, so I only have the two characters. We've got Toad and Luigi, so I'll be selling these as a bundle. So I won't get all that much. I wish I had the full set. However, I do have the box that it came in, so I'm going to be selling them with the box, and hopefully the box attracts some buyers. So I believe these are selling each character for about £8 each at the moment on eBay, so I'll probably list this between 15 and 20 with the box. We also went to town. I also went to town one of the days and popped into Cash Converters and Cash Generator. So Cash Generator was the first one I went to, and I picked up this copy of Phobia on the PS4. Now I only bought this a couple of weeks ago in the 3 for 2 sale in game, but because of that I now know the value of it. So this sells for around about £15 on eBay, so this was $7.99. Now I may play this game, and now I've got 2 copies, might try it out, but in the meantime £15 on that one. These then were in Cash Converters, so I spent £2.48, I got 2 99p games and one for 50p. So the first 99p game was this Formula 1 2003 on the PS3. Unfortunately the case is battered, but I can swap that out and get a replacement case, so that's absolutely no problem. This is only about a £4 or £5 game after plus postage, so I think it sells about £6 or £7. But from £1 I can't really argue with that. Nice and quick and easy to list. The next one is Fuse. Now this is a game that seems to have gone up a little bit or become a little bit more rare. So this was one of the last PS3 games we got before the PS4, or before it went over to PS4. So this is still stuck on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. This is from EA and Insomniac. So this didn't get a PS4 release, and this came out in 2013, so it is quite a rare game now. It's not worth too much money, it goes for about £10, and I paid 99p for it. So the last of the 3 games that I purchased from Cash Converters was the Black Eyed Peas Experience on the Xbox 360. This is the promotional copy and it was only 50p, so I'm very happy with this one. With the promotional copies, they're only really given out to reviewers and YouTubers and things like that to review the game, so there's actually not many of them floating around. If there's none listed on YouTube in a specific game you search, if you put promo copy or promotional copy, they usually come up. If they don't come up, you can kind of ask your price. Obviously you have to be sensible, no one's going to pay £100 for it, but I could probably list this for around about £20, and then I can always take offers on it. So it's always better to list it high and then come down than list it too cheap and it sells straight away. So you don't know really how rare the promotional versions of these games can be. So this sells for around about £10, £10 to £12 on eBay. Just for the normal version. So for the promo version, I'd always add a premium on that, so I'm going to be listing it for about 15 to 20. So time for the results from the week. Well, it's been another poor week, but at least there's a bit of money going into the bank. It's not much, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still something. Now with the car boots, I did go to one not long ago, which I will be uploading soon, so there will be a new car boot video coming this week. But I don't know when my next car boot will be, just because with cash flow, I haven't made any money on eBay really. I had the store fees come out, which actually put me in minus in terms of profit, and then this week I've just been making a few sales just to try and build that bank account back up. So I try and keep myself with a £200 float, so once I have £200 then I can go to the car boot. But until I reach that £200 mark, then I can't really go, can't really afford to go. If I go to a car boot with £50 or £100, then I just know that's not going to be enough, or I'll spend it straight away. So I really need at least £200 to properly have a good car boot, get a good video out of it, and also get some good stuff to sell on eBay. So £146.46 was the total for postage and what I sold. So that was the sort of gross profit. We had £21.57 come out from eBay fees, and £22.52 was the actual postage cost. So all of the items were £56.99. So after all of that, we have about £100 worth of deductions. I made £45.38 profit for the week, which is rubbish, but it is what it is. So I hope you enjoyed the video. That's pretty much everything I've got to say. We've got the 2 weeks of sales to go over, so there's 15 sales we've made, and yeah, that's pretty much it. We picked up a few video games, we got a few random bits to chuck on the eBay store, and we've got those controllers which I need to sort of test and throw up. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.